Call the meeting to order. I'll rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Next up, public to be heard. None?
Correct.
All right. It's my turn. Good news. All right. From the high school, Sarah Geithner. I was able to stop into Mrs. Veltz's SOAR yoga class after school, and it was great. I was impressed by how focused the students were on their body movements, challenging themselves athletically and being mindful. Let's see here. From the middle school, Megan Teteris, Amanda, wow, I don't want to, McKeechik, Carrie McBride, and Officer Stevens orchestrated an extremely successful Thanksgiving food drive in our Batavia community. Over 20 turkeys and dinners delivered. Thank you for all you have done during the season of giving. John Kennedy. Principal Kessler, special thanks to Eric Knapp and Mary Pearl for helping out on days when one of the administrators at JK are out. It is reassuring that they are skilled in supporting our students and staff when the need arises. And from the district, from new AD, Ryan Winchip. As of November 20th, 2023, I've been in Batavia City Schools for exactly 1 month and 1 day. And I have loved getting to know all the coaches, teachers, support staff, and administrators. Everyone has been very welcoming, and I have felt blessed with this opportunity. I would just like to thank the school board, Superintendent Smith, and the interview committee for allotting me this opportunity. And there's a ton more good news, so please have at it, take a look at it, and read it. Batavia High School update. Principal West. AP Hussein.
All right.
Let's
go.
You guys are up.
Ready to go. Ready.
Well, hello everybody. This is very exciting. So we are here to present an update for the high school and how things have been going so far. And as you know, I'm new to the high school, so I'm very excited to share some of the things that we have been working on. So the first thing is I want to introduce ourselves. So I'm Jenny West, I'm the principal. We also have Jessica Corzelius, one of our assistant principals, and also Omar Hussein. So these are just a couple of our pictures. We're very happy. So we're at a dance, the fall ball, and I believe that was open house as well. So just in general, we're really gelling as a team. We're very aligned. We do really good work together, and I'm just thrilled to work with them. So we just want to go over the mission and the vision statements, as you know. So when we look at the district mission and vision, and I know you guys know these very well, so I'm not going to read them to you, but I want to just kind of talk about some of the words that popped out to me when I first became a principal and I started to dig into learning a little bit about Batavia. So the words empowering students, maximum potential, socially responsible citizens, and then things like safe and nurturing environment, high moral character, and successfully meeting life's challenges. So coming into this, I really was focused on how can we make sure that our culture is helping our students to rise to be the best students that they can be, and how can they take those steps to really show the independence that they have within themselves. So I just wanted to say that I really grounded myself in the mission and vision as I started to think about the work that I was going to do at Batavia High School. So again, as you know, our strategic plan as a district is really amazing, and this is really the roadmap that we use in the high school to plan all of the things that we're doing, some of the policies and procedures that we've updated, the messaging that we're giving our students. So, and we'll talk more about our goals and how they align specifically to the strategic plan. So I want to share a little about my journey and where I started here. So the first activity I was able to do was in the city, no, not in the city, in the summer, I apologize. It was in the summer, and there had been some unrest at the end of the year, and you know, lots of things where people were talking about different things that were going on in their buildings and some of the needs that they wanted to kind of discuss as a district at large. So there was a 3-day meeting. It was 4 hours for 3 different days, and I was able to be a part of it. And it really gave me my first taste of what is Batavia about, what are we looking to do, and what are we looking to build upon? What are the great things that we have? So this kind of helped as well, just being in this meeting and meeting people across the district to start to formulate some of the things and actions that we were going to take as we worked on our goals together. So 2 specific areas emerged about that, and that's through our shared decision-making team. A lot of people were present for the summer meetings, and then we also are continuing the work throughout the school year. And we're focusing on these 2 areas that we decided best met the things that we wanted to explore based on stakeholder feedback, referral data, street data, meaning like interviews and surveys and things like that. So we kind of compiled all of that information, and from that, these were the 2 areas that the shared decision team felt that we needed to dig into. So one of them is, in what ways might we be able to handle and best manage student behaviors in the class? And what we understand is what happens in the classroom often can really capture a lot of the students, right? We call that tier 1, and it's really generalized. And if you look at data, about 80% of students can have their needs met through a strong classroom management system. So those are some of the things that we're digging into as a group. And then the other thing is really, again, thinking about students, promoting that independence, understanding those 21st century skills, meaning what do our students really need when they leave high school nowadays? I needed to know how to memorize the states and how to go to the card catalog because I'm old in the library, right? Those are the things that I needed to know. Our students nowadays, they really need a totally different set of skills to be able to make it. And one of them are, how do they emotionally regulate in order to manage conflict? And we want to help students to really learn about themselves and be able to embody some of that. So these are the 2 areas that our shared decision making is working through for the year. We also had 3 goals that were created, and these are our building goals, and also the assistant principals have goals that tie along with this, and we're all aligned and intentional. And essentially these 3 goals, and I'll make it much more specific, we all will through our presentation, but these align specifically to the strategic plan. So one of our first goals is that we do want students to learn those strategies, to develop and manage those emotional regulation skills, and we want to just promote those positive behaviors in school. We also have a goal that started last year, and they have done a lot of work around it with academic rigor. And so we're going to continue that work and build upon it. And what we're really doing is we're having our students engage in purposeful reading at grade level in all of their classes, and authentic writing to help build those skills across, and also those collaborative discussion protocols. And again, that goes into those 21st century skills and being able to, be socially aware and self-aware. And then also providing a school environment that is safe and orderly for all stakeholders. So these are like the 3 overarching goals, and then we're going to break it down a little bit more to give you some more specifics. So this year, our goal is promoting the independence within, and we started by doing our grade level meetings and sharing this with all of our students, and really focusing on the idea of, we know there's tons of independence in our students. They're very independent in their outside lives. Some of them are 2, 3 student athletes, or they do tons of extracurriculars. And so instead of just doing a top-down process of this is what we want kids to rise and to have a voice and to be able skills when they leave us. So this whole idea is help us to help you, because this is your school. So how can you be independent? How can you manage? How can you be a part of our community in a positive way, and really trying to make these teachable moments, not just we need you to. And now I'm going to turn it over to Mr.
Yep.
Oh, I guess you don't do it.
No, so this was pretty sweet, just in terms of being able to recognize that especially our upperclassmen do deserve some privileges and some extra treats. To start the school year, we're not going to take credit for this. A couple of our students, our co-mayors, actually presented the idea of a senior sunrise and a senior sunset. They presented to the idea in email form. Very quickly, we got wheels turning and figured out how we can make this happen. And this was, even though this is our 3rd year in this specific role, this was my first time to experience how amazing the Batavia Senior Parent Group can be. They came together and pretty much put the whole show on. All we needed to do was make sure the stadium was accessible, chaperones were available, and the cafeteria provided some snacks. It was an awesome experience. We did this at the stadium in late September, and it was beautiful watching the sunrise over the stadium. And then just in terms of, again, recognizing that they're upperclassmen and maybe it's time for some privileges that they earn, we looked at Right now, our students who go to BOCES, so juniors and seniors, they can have scheduled direct arrival. So it just means that instead of coming to the high school for a 30-minute window, they go directly to BOCES. And this is in place of a study hall. So we've got seniors who are in great standing, who might have a study hall first block, who are also, like, for the past couple of years, asking for that same privilege. Is there a way that we can just come start in second block when we actually have our academic classes? Where, you know, we're in the top percentage of our grade, we don't get into any trouble, and our attendance is not an issue. And we listened for a couple of years, and this year is our first year that we're actually able to give it to students, and it's been pretty sweet. And the last piece, the senior, so it's like, technically it's still just a senior study hall, it's not the senior lounge, which is why it's in quotes. But we moved to grade level study halls this year, and we just have the seniors in the library. And I can just say, like, from the senior perspective, in terms of us checking in with them, they love it. The underclassmen, they'll love it when they're seniors too. Now, Mrs. Corzelius.
Sure. So I'm going to dive deeper into our goal around helping our students emotionally regulate. And so ultimately what we're really looking to do through our shared decision-making team and our SEL team is really providing them with the skills and strategies to help them understand themselves so that they can better build relationships, manage stress, diffuse conflict, and just overall just not be thrown off by the challenges that they face. And so what that looks like is we have a lot of like different restorative practices that we put into place, and that those are like just different meetings with kids. So individual kids that have conflict with each other, or sometimes it's groups of students, and even we bring in families, and we have a lot of success around that. And sometimes it could be like a bigger circle or just smaller group. Our counselors are very helpful in that process as well. So when we need them to step in, they're very helpful, resourceful around those. Our alternative to suspension room, we're working hard to work with the students to really understand, you know, reasons that brought them there and the habits that over time, like what are some things that you can put into place to, again, restore and work and repair so that they are better able to face the challenges that they're facing and not be thrown off their game. We're really excited because our next late arrival day in February, we're looking at providing a overall wellness experience for our students and reaching out to the resources that we have in our staff to offer just different rotations that they can kind of pick and choose and go in. So look for more information for that. We'll hopefully be in the good news shout outs for that. So more of our SEL commitment, what it looks like, we really are doing our best to like provide space for students around their social emotional learning. And one of those ways is through Mental Health Mondays and giving time so for teachers to either run an activity or students just kind of in their own space to take time for themselves and work on their mental health. We have monthly circles, which I'm really excited. This past month, our students worked really hard with an organization that we're partnered with, PERI. They're partners in restorative initiatives. And on the surface, they bring people together to talk about their thoughts and ideas and stories. But when it comes to like kind of like resolving conflict, it brings people together to repair that harm, either from themselves, their own behavior, or like just around their community. Yeah, and so anyway, so we're actually really excited because we had a group of students trained, and they were able to break up and create circles of their own. So previously, our SEL committee has been creating circles, but we're really trying to garner our students' voice and give them the leadership roles. And so they've been able to create 4 separate circles and facilitate them in different classrooms. And that was very successful. We had more teachers reaching out and wanting more students to facilitate circles. So we're working with Dr. Corey and PERI, thank you Dr. Corey for that resource, to train a second group because we have that much more of a demand. So again, it's just really empowering our students to see the leaders in themselves and utilize their abilities for good, use their superpowers. Lots of like gratitude focus events. This week we're having a lot of holiday events for our staff and students, from dress up days to food days. Shout outs to staff on the announcements and students. We brought Catch a Kid a program from the middle school that a lot of our kids are familiar with, where it's just celebrating students and just the positive that they're bringing to our community and our space. And then this past November, we brought in the Echo dance team. And again, this is just another way we partnered with the middle school. And so they brought, through dance and music, they kind of got our kids engaged and excited. And then each of them, at the end, took time to share their stories and the challenges that they faced in high school, and to just kind of like share some things that helped them along the way. So we're really about empowerment and building that independence within. Mm-hmm.
And I do want to say that the work of the students going through Perry is really special, and I'm really proud. It has nothing to do with me, but I'm really proud because I don't know another school that is empowering students to do that work. So it's pretty exciting, and it's really, really impactful. So goal 2, this is around our academic rigor. So students will engage in purposeful reading, authentic text, writing, and collaborative discussion protocols for 100 minutes a day. So essentially, it's like 10 minutes or so in class at least. So we are actually doing some exciting work as a district overall, and I'm sure you've heard about it as the board. So professional learning communities is where we have a lot of guidance, and it's going to be over the course of a few years, where we're really trying to hone in and become very specific around looking at our student work, thinking about how do we know that students have been able to meet the criteria that we set, what do we do to get them there, and what do we do if they have not gotten there. So we are starting as a staff in the BHS, the same as all of the staff throughout the district, to do this work. So this is us on our professional learning day with our faculty, and we were just starting to dig in. So an example of how we're starting this work is eventually what we'll be doing is we're looking at the large group of standards, and we'll be prioritizing, we'll be figuring out what's essential to the different curriculums. And so we started doing this by looking at one standard of ELA, because as we know, all courses are reading and writing, even if they're not ELA. And we looked at the standard, and what our teachers are doing right now is they unpacked that standard, and they started to really talk about what does it look like if a kid is really needing this at a proficient level, what does it look like if they're not, and starting those dialogues. So we are currently in the process of everybody has unpacked the standard, they have selected student samples, and after we come back from break, we'll be looking at those samples and starting to have those dialogues. This will help us to practice as we move forward in this work.
Year at a glance work. So this is a vision that I'm thankful to have been able to start the work with in the summer of 2022 with the English and Social Studies staff. But now we're moving towards our full faculty, where like hopefully the idea is at the click of a button, a parent, a new staff member, a student should be able to get exactly what that says. A year at a glance for any subject, any content area, any class. English and Social Studies, the humanities had a leg up just because we did some summer curriculum work 2 summers ago. But now in addition to this being a district initiative, this is something at the high school where I've got 2 full departments who others can lean on to kind of guide the work. And we're excited, and we're hoping that by June of 2024, every course that we offer at Batavia High School has a publicly accessible year at a glance. That's our goal, and we're hopeful that we can get there.
And then also, as you know, in order to support our students, we have to support our teachers, and we have to have those conversations and that work around it. So we are focusing, obviously, we have APPR, which all teachers have, and those are the observation process. But in our faculty meetings, we're treating them like professional learning. So we are working on a topic, and this year in particular, we're looking really closely at leveled questioning, which has a lot of research around it, and also discussion techniques. So again, just promoting that academic rigor.
All right, so goal 3 was to provide a school environment that's safe and orderly for all stakeholders. Again, just like this is my 3rd year here, this is our 3rd year here, and last year in May, we had a couple faculty meetings, and during which several faculty shared with us concerns about some of the bigger issues in hallways, in classrooms that would eventually lead us to looking at how can we help teachers become better classroom managers. But then also on a building-wide scale, what can we be doing as administrators to help get kids into those classrooms and to keep the rest of the building safe and operating smoothly? So one of the things that we looked at and talked about in the school culture committee was the degree to which student cell phones have become a distraction. We actually went as far, just in our school culture committee, as far as looking at like what's the degree to which we're comfortable just saying no phones in Batavia High School, all the way to the other extreme of, hey, you know, phones are here, we can't do anything about them, let's just leave them, kids have got to figure it out. And we ended up at a pretty nice middle ground, in my opinion, where students are walking into classes, there's a designated expectation for where phones go. It started with something as simple as this might be like a cell phone pouch. You come in, you put your phone here. Some teachers built their own little things to capture phones. Some teachers are saying to students, keep them in your backpacks. Just either way, your cell phones are out of sight during instruction, but there will be a phone break, at which point students can use their phone. And the feedback that we've gotten from teachers, at least so far, has been profoundly positive. Much fewer instances of kids pushing back if there's a phone out, because now it's a building-wide expectation that phones are away. So that's been just like one small piece of positive that we've been able to pull from the first 15 weeks of the school year. This other one, similarly, how do we keep students in class? We had a lot of students towards the end of last year, not a lot, but we had the same groups of students who were frequently leaving their classes or showing up to their classes late. And we started to talk about, if we're on a block system and students are meeting every other day for their classes, it's not the same as meeting every single day even for that 30 minutes. So if a student is accessing the restroom or leaving the bathroom or coming to class late, every single time that they meet for English 9, for example, what's the percentage of seat time that they're missing? And teachers came to us with an idea of looking at some sort of a pass overhaul. Right now we're hoping to be in a demo phase with like an e-hall pass system, which would be completely online. Think of it like a kiosk when you walk into a cell phone shop like Verizon, and you get to, I want to go to the bathroom or something, and the teacher will be able to go and access it on their computer or on their Chromebook, and it'll be like more automated. But right now what we're at is this 5 passes per class per quarter system. The majority of our students, and when I say so, I mean like 90% of our student body stay within that 5 passes per quarter. The 10% that aren't are the 10% of students that we kind of already have a closer eye on, a keener eye on when it comes to hallway and bathroom behavior. But similarly, this has been something that we've received from the teacher perspective, fairly positive feedback regarding. If a student goes past that 5 pass system, they just call for an escort. At no point in Batavia High School is a kid told that they cannot use the bathroom. They might be told to wait for an escort at the very most. And that's been helpful too, just in terms of teachers being able to track the extent to which what kids are using the bathroom every single time, and teachers are reaching out using Parent Square or phone calls and letting families know, like, hey, is there anything we need to know? Like, just a heads up, your kid's always missing my class in particular. And it's just helped to kind of close or create a feedback cycle.
Yeah, so, and again, it's really about promoting the independence within. Time management, how do you use your cell phone? We all have one in the world. So really overall, that's what's been going on in the high school. We're just working to support our students the best we can, and we're continuing to just keep garnering voice and reaching out to families and trying to do the best job that we can. So that's our presentation. Any questions? Okay. Thank you guys, and I know this went on and on. We're very proud, so thank you.
Great job, you guys, for
Later, everybody.
Thank you.
Later.
Thank you. Great job, thank you.
All right, the role of instructional support specialists at BCSD.
I can hear it well.
So just in terms of context, sometimes we call these instructional support specialists coaches, not to be confused with athletic coaches, but they kind of do the same type of thing. So instructional support specialist is a technical term. The slang we use is coaches. So welcome and thanks. So why don't you just introduce yourselves real quick.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Sorry, Marie. I'm sorry.
I'm Marie Bigsby. I'm the Literacy Instructional Support Specialist at Jackson. I've been in the district over 25 years. I taught special ed, various grade levels in elementary. I did 1 year of reading, and then Dr. Corey said, why don't you try this role? So this is my 4th year in this role.
Jen Sloan. I work at John Kennedy as a literacy coach. I taught 4th grade for 20 years, and I was very nervous to make the jump out of the classroom, but I have loved every single second of this job. So that's where I am now.
Hi, I'm Michelle Fletty. I've been in the district for about 17 years. I've also worked at multiple grade levels at John Kennedy and the middle school, and this is my 2nd year at BMS as a literacy coach.
I'm Anne Marie Kokidas. I am working at Jackson Primary as a math coach for K-1. I've been here in Batavia for 21 years. My first year was at Robert Morris when we were still open in 5th grade, and then went to 1st grade for the remainder of my years, and I just love being a math coach.
And I'm Debbie Loftus, and I am at John Kennedy, and I've been in the district about, excuse me, I have a cold, 20 years, and I was a gifted and talented teacher, and then I became a math AIS teacher, and then Dr. Corey asked me if I would then be an instructional math coach, and this is my 2nd year in that position.
Hi, I'm Karen Shosky, and I also started in Batavia student teaching, and then I was hired. This is my 21st year in Batavia. 1 year as 2nd grade teacher, and the other, the other 18 were for the ACE program. So this is my 2nd year as math coach at the middle school.
So we are all housed in our own buildings where we work with teachers and students from pre-K to 8th grade on a daily basis, but we're also available to work with teachers and students at the high school as needed. So up here it says that's about 1,400 students and 200 staff members that we collaborate with throughout the whole year.
So our goals as instructional coaches are to support the teachers in Batavia to meet the goals of the strategic plan. We strive to help teachers improve their classroom instruction by providing them with best practices in education. We are continuing our own knowledge of best practices by reading books, attending webinars, watching videos to improve our knowledge, and we participate in a regional consortium for instructional coaches. Research strongly suggests that a well-designed instructional coaching program improves teacher practice and student outcomes. In a study by researchers Matthew A. Kraft and David Blazar, it was found that instructional coaching had a greater impact on instruction than almost all school-based interventions. By providing more personalized support to teachers, instructional coaches can improve the instructions of students that students receive and can ensure that students are taught by effective teachers and they will benefit from a high-quality education.
Building trust and credibility takes a lot of time. Much of our year 1 of coaching was spent building and strengthening these bonds with teachers. Doing this has built a strong foundation for true coaching to take place. We are seeing the benefits as we begin year 2. Several teachers are now coming to us and asking for confidential support in a variety of areas. In addition, there are many new teachers and long-term subs throughout our district. We assist with their onboarding process. We also meet with our mentees throughout the district a couple of times a year, and that assists with our Phase 2 program.
So we wanted to bring back what we do on a daily basis, and it was hard for us to come up with exactly what we do because every day is different, every hour is different. But as we went through the strategic plan, part of our job is to help build this collaborative culture, and we do this in a variety of ways. As you know, we're working with the New York Project for professional learning communities, so we're going through some of the training that the administrators are going through, and then we're helping and facilitate these PLCs in our building. We also help with grade level meetings, so we help set agendas for grade level meetings. We work with department chairs to provide PD, to get everybody on the same page within the grade levels, and then within our building, and then within our 3 buildings in the district. So I know as a literacy team, we meet weekly, just the 3 of us, to say, okay, let's talk about what's going on in Jackson, let's talk about what's going on in John Kennedy, and what's going on in middle school. So we're really hopeful that someday we can add the high school, so we can be all 4 buildings. The last thing that we have always had a part with superintendent conference days. This year, Debbie and I went to the high school to help, like Jenny was explaining, about unpacking the standards. So we went there to work with high school teachers, and it was really powerful to see, because we're in our little buildings of K 2 through 4, but it was really powerful to see what's going on at the high school and to see like what we're doing at Jackson and John Kennedy in the middle school will eventually translate into this is what you're going to do when you're the big kids. And it was really exciting. So we have a little bit of our jobs are definitely in this professional development, giving teachers what they need in different variety of ways.
So another responsibility of our job is to support the implementation of adopted curriculum such as Wit and Wisdom, Wonders, Foundations, Your Week in Math, Progress Monitoring, M-Class, all these wonderful curriculum programs that we just, we love so much that we are helping with those teachers and sharing and supporting. So data is big and it drives our instruction. Whether it is to reteach or whether it is to continue with the instruction, we look at data a lot throughout the weeks and the months. And so we utilize our data from eDoctrina and some other data points, and this allows us to show students and teachers just how they are progressing and just give success and celebrate.
And what you're looking at right there is part of our instructional playbook. And just like coaches on sports teams, we also have a playbook. This basically is something we've developed over time and we're still working on. And it's really just a library of sorts of resources. It's instructional best practices, and we use the research of John Hattie and Jim Knight and Mike Schmoker. So we wanted to make sure everything was credible. And pretty much if we're meeting with a teacher, something may happen and we may need to look for certain resources. So we basically give ideas and strategies to the teachers, but ultimately it's their decision of how they want to use it and how they are going to help their students to improve.
So we spend a tremendous amount of time with teachers, but one of our biggest one of my biggest goals was to work with students, because I thought leaving the classroom after 20 years, like, I'm not going to have my babies, and what am I going to do? And I know we have all felt that way. So we push into a lot of classrooms and we work with a lot of students. So right now at John Kennedy, we're working with 2 different ELA curriculums, Wit and Wisdom and Wonders. And it's hard work, right? Teachers are in it and kids are working really hard. And so I got a text from a teacher one night and she said, wait until you see this. One of her 4th grade students took the time to go home, and he had been learning for probably 6 weeks about the heart. And they were learning about the circulatory system and the arteries and everything that goes along with the heart. He took it upon himself to go home and take all of the information that he had learned, he didn't have books at home, and he wrote up this essay about the heart, and then he picked pictures from the internet and wanted to, and said in his email, I want to show them to the class on Friday if we can. Thank you. You taught me a lot about the heart. This is the best Wit and Wisdom or Wonders lesson I've ever had in my whole life. So it was, and the kid, I was able to talk to the little boy the next day, and he was just like, yeah, I had Wonders last year and now Wit and Wisdom, and like, I'm learning so much. And I can go in, and I said to the teacher, what if he becomes a heart surgeon? And like, he saves everything. And like, we taught him. It was really dramatic and really exciting. But the point is that, yes, we work with teachers for a majority of our day, but like, our ultimate goal is to have the impact on the students. And things like this just make our jobs the best.
In preparing for a presentation, we made a list of all the things we potentially do. And as you can see, it's not just one thing, it's a huge collection of things we do. And the impact from your support does all of this, so we really appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice job.
Nice job.
Ladies, thank you for everything you guys do. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any questions?
And you're going to see some of their work, the fruits of their work in the next presentation from Dr. Corey, I'm sure.
Yes.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
How many years has this, did you say 2?
This is year 2.
For some
For
people,
some
I've
of
been in
us.
it before, but there were coaches before us.
There was, okay.
I used to pick people who were looking to go into administration, but it helped them get out of a job faster. So I started then going to like what I thought was the best talent in the district. You know, teachers. I don't want to lose them. You know, we've lost a few.
A lot of years
So
under her.
I just, it was a fast track to make them really great leaders, and they truly are. So thank you guys.
Couldn't do without you, so. Yes. Now, none at the high school, is that?
Yeah.
So that's in the works, so we got to tie it in with the budget presentation later on down the road. It's all in the works, so it's all, lots of moving parts though, Corinne. So right now, there are none. We've made some attempts, but we'd like to get there eventually if the budget can support it down the road.
Because if we can truly have a team of people that we can collaborate and meet with and bring it from Jacksonville High School, I mean, it's huge. The vertical alignment of curriculum is huge.
Thank you, nice job, appreciate it, thank you.
Thanks.
All right, next up, BCSD testing scores update, Dr. Corey.
It's easy to go and tell a story about the work that they do with this year's scores. It truly is, they're a piece of the puzzle that's a big, big part. You know, the commitment that we have for the kids throughout all the aspects of the strategic plan is seen in many ways. You heard from the high school the things that they're doing, and the coaches, I think, did a really nice job telling about their day in terms of what they do. And ultimately, what we look for is what do the scores tell us. And this year, we're excited to see that I believe we're really trending truly in the right direction. The state will tell you that it's been a bumpy few years. In fact, they put a little note with this year's score release that it truly is a start to a new generation. There's new standards, there's new assessments. We're coming off of COVID where we had just release questions for part of it. But I would say that it's important to see what do these numbers mean. I put 3 in green to show you that it shows an increase over time. I covered it up just because, oops, and now I gotta go back. I like to show the wow. And then Brittany, let's see. I got it. So, this would show what I would call the 3rd grade class, the 3rd grade teachers over time. It's not the cohort, that'll be the next slide. And going back to pre-COVID, we were on the move in some areas and we were kind of stalled. We didn't know what to do with this release thing, and then in that first year out, they told us that, again, it was not a year to be counted. So, but going back into it, you can see that 3 of our grade levels, if you looked historically over time, have made some progress. So what does that equate to? When we look into the cohorts of kids, we have 3 groups of kids that are still showing growth. 4th graders grew from 3rd, which is promising with some of the things that we're doing. Our 5th graders who've traditionally had a deep decline didn't. They really maintained in a nice way. 6th grade went up. 7th grade is a wonky year with some kids. We're going to have to really dig into that a little bit. We've had some change in some staff. And then 8th grade has been kind of a really good team that's been on the move, and they're showing progress again. So I was really excited by those results. For me, we always like to say, what does that mean? How do we compare then to others? And for my time in Batavia, we've used a group of small cities. We hide their identities just because we don't have their permission to say who they are in public setting. But we've always compared to these, the same ones. They've been steady Eddie, we've watched over time, and we've tracked our progress over time. And for ELA, I was really excited that 5th grade really climbed in the rankings. That's been a focus area, especially with our coaches. But we were first in 3 out of the 6 categories, which I thought was just awesome. For when I'm going to tell you, the best is yet to come for ELA. The Wit and Wisdom and Wonders is the newest piece to the puzzle that they're wrestling with. And we've got the science of reading, moving kids up. For a while, the system seemed like it wasn't working as cohesively as it could, and the coaches have really helped to repair that. They talk about what teachers are doing in each school, and this year's 2nd grade teachers that it's the strongest 2nd graders they've had in reading. They know that they understand what's going on, and they were really, really excited about that. And I would say it's, a big part to the coaches' conversations and the leadership. The principals are doing a really great job with that as well. I was very pleased with all of our rankings, and I hope that we'll continue to really outshine in several areas, especially as I know some of the changes are still coming. Mathematics, I didn't hide. If you listen to any of the news, they said that mathematics was the area that kids lagged in the most from COVID. And the fact that we have 5 out of 6 grade levels showing incredible growth tells me that we were able to get right back on course. When you look across the grade level years, we saw really nice gains, significant gains in grades 3 and 4. So as we've looked at the GB region, they're not necessarily similar size and similar demographics. They're small regional, but we always, kind of see where we rank in the GB, and we're number 1 in 3rd and 4th for math. In fact, BOCES called me and said, have you seen your scores? What are you guys doing? Because not other schools are seeing this. Now, I will just give a little disclaimer. There's several schools that have gone to computer-based testing, and there's a little coalition forming that they believe that computer-based testing is not the right approach for kids. So we're carefully making sure that we prepare so that we don't see declines because of that factor. When I look at the cohorts of kids, again, it matches ELA. 3 out of the 6th grade levels have significant gains in terms of, the progress that the cohorts of kids are making. I would say the math coaches are a piece of that puzzle. We've really we haven't changed any curriculum. We really just anchored in on what we're using and ensuring that we're teaching kids to think mathematically. Among the small cities, we had number 1 in 2 grade levels. We had a little dip in 6th grade. I would say that's sometimes the fallout from taking coaches and the backlog. To make the changes, there's always backfill. That 6th grade group last year had 2 different teachers during the year. It's challenging to find math teachers and high-quality math teachers who are ready, and I'm glad the coaches talked about onboarding. That's a big part of what they do. We hope that over time we'll grow and improve and get them back on track with that. I shared that the celebrations, there's many of them from the news. It's really that team approach. I'd like to focus in on what we saw at JK. It was really a true effort with admin working together from Jackson to John Kennedy, trickling to the middle school with their coaches and their teachers. They're sharing their team in creative ways, and that's really making good progress. When I talked to Mr. Hessler about some of the systems he has, I was kind of asking him some questions, and he's like, you can't dismantle it. And my intention is not ever. Now that we know what makes it work, how can we replicate that completely in other places? Because, we've been trying, very distinctive things to make sure that we're getting kids back on track and we know it's working. The percent of level 4s, literally this information just came out. That's going to be another astounding statistic that you hear about. If you remember a few years ago, John Kennedy was cited for having several kids from poverty that were earning level 4s. We're back there. Several. If you look on our very high percentages are earning that, which is awesome. And we wanted to celebrate that as the fourth graders went to fifth grade. You probably heard that the teachers came over for that celebration. We're having contact. The kids are sharing what it means to be gritty, and we want to keep that momentum going so that, you know, they build on it and keep growing as mathematicians. That fifth grade, they improved their rankings in both ELA and math, and we're sure that we're on the trajectory to keep that going. And then the high rankings among small cities are just, it's a lot. Good news to celebrate when people are working so hard. Some growth opportunities, you know, onboarding new teachers is a challenge, and even sometimes getting new teachers can be challenging, especially math teachers. That's going to be a continual effort to ensure that we have the very best in our classrooms every day. And then that PLC work that you heard about, that's really going to help and grow. You know, if you think of the number of standards, you probably couldn't even guess how many standards teachers are expected to teach every day. It's hundreds. And this work is really about focusing in on what are the important pieces and how do you build a system around that. John Kennedy experimented with that the last couple of years, and we're refining our approach, and the other schools have added on to it. And I think it's going to be really great to see that come together with watching data and moving things forward. I'd say about my motto has always been slow and steady wins the race. You know, I don't want it to be one knee-jerk thing that we do that changes it. It's building a strong system that empowers teachers, that empowers students to see some of the results that they showed you. And now we have some numbers to quantify that. I am so excited to be a part of that PLC project. It's the first big initiative that we've come together collectively. It's hard to have principals out of their schools as many times as they are. We have at least 2 sessions every month, and sometimes we come together as a team, and sometimes we let them stay in their schools with the coaches and their ILP chairs. But they know that it's the right work, and they're excited about it, and they're willing to make that commitment to keep the growth going. What questions might you have for me?
No questions? Dr. Corey, thank you very much. That was
Nice
great
job.
news. Thank you. Next up is the superintendent's report.
Thank you,
Mr.
John.
Smith.
Thank you, sir. Several items of an assortment here. I just want to recognize one piece in your board packet. The Richmond Library, as you know, have notified us. Andy and I have been working very tightly with them. We have a very good partnership with them. We've had it for many, many, many years. But they have made the decision to take over their accounting and payroll department from the school district. It's not really going to have an impact on us, but their board has made that decision. Andy and I, like I said, have been working very closely with the library director there and their staff and our staff. We expect that transition to happen at some point. Anything to add to that, Andy?
No, that's
No.
it.
So we still will work with them. We're still going to take care of the property and such. But in terms of the finances, they determine it's in their best interest to take that over themselves. Not really a big deal, but it's just a change in practice for us. So before I go on, does anybody have any questions on that? Okay. Just a couple items then. I want to recognize and thank our voters and our families and our parents and community members for supporting the capital project. As you're going to see later on tonight, we're prepared to have the accepted results. They passed by about a 3-to-1 ratio. Very excited to have that. The design work will start in January. All the devil's in the details. I just want to recognize Scott Rosansky, Andy Lang, Molly Corey, Tricia Finnegan, Chad, both Johns who served on the team as well, and the entire architect and capital project team, and also the rest of the board for their support. So we're excited for that long-term planning to get that going. Winter concerts have finished. Most of them have finished. I've attended the JK Chorus, the BMS Band and Orchestra, and the BHS Band and Chorus. They were all very well done. Want to recognize, again, thank you to our leadership team, our teachers, and our admins here. Achievement results that Dr. Corey shared with us, so I think we can be very proud of those. There's, of course, more work to do, but we're headed in the right direction. In the some presentation we just heard, I forgot what it was. We heard about the toy and food drives. So I want to recognize across the district we had several food drives over Thanksgiving, and we had some toy drives as well led in the various schools. Congratulations to our actors and actresses from the fall play. Peyton, nice job in Alibis. It was very funny as promised, so nice job to all of them. Winter sports are underway. Teams are off to a good start. And then as the coaches said, the New York project, the PLC project is well underway. We've had 2 sessions this past month. Lots of participation. The next board session is coming up in January via Zoom. If you can participate, please join us for that. And finally, happy holidays, Merry Christmas to all of our families. As the board, we'll be on break from Friday until January 1st, return January 2nd. So just wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and Happy New Year. So, any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Next up, Peyton Wohler, student ex officio's report.
Okay, so like Mr. Smith had mentioned, we had our show, it was the first weekend of December. All of them went amazing. Our opening night was sold out, and our 2 other shows from there were both like over 3/4 in attendance, which was just such an amazing thing, especially for my senior show with the drama club. We ended up having our cast party at the Go Arts Center, so thank you for them for allowing us to be there. And then speaking of shows, Footloose has already started. We had our first rehearsal yesterday, which was just such a fun experience. We have a new vocal director who we were able to get in contact with, and he has been such a blessing to work with. He was in attendance with a lot of the rehearsals for the Alibis, but like to get to know us, but now he's finally working with us as a vocal director, and he's doing such an amazing job. We also are excited for our participation in Stars of Tomorrow, which is a program we started last year, which through RBTL is a competition between all different musicals in our area and allows us to be recognized for our amazing performative abilities. Getting off of that tangent, we have indoor track. They had their first practice meet at Nazareth. Overall, teams performed amazingly, and they also had another meet this past weekend, which also I heard went well. And then, as Mr. Smith mentioned, we had our combined chorus and band concert on last Thursday. It featured our concert band, jazz ensemble, flute ensemble, saxophone ensemble, and wind ensemble, all under the direction of Mr. Murtaugh. And then we also had our treble choir, mixed choir, and select choir, which were all under the organization of Mr. Grillo. And then, as you can tell by my outfit, we went caroling today, along with Tri-M, which is our Music Honor Society in the building, went around to Jackson, John Kennedy, Robert Morris, and the Manor House, and were able to carol for so many different people, and it was such an amazing experience.
When are you going to come to our part of the school? Tomorrow? Is that tomorrow?
No,
No?
I know the level 5 Spanish.
Oh, I heard that rumor, yes, I did hear that rumor.
I don't know
yes.
when they're coming, but I know they always,
My source says 4th block, but I could be wrong, so.
I don't take Spanish 5 personally. I dropped that after Spanish 2, but my sister is in it, and I'm sure she's just gonna have such a fun time going around.
We're up for like if you want to make like a cameo appearance sometime down in the district office, we'd love to.
I'll talk to Tribe about that.
We tip well too, so, especially Tricia Finnegan. She tips well.
And then our combined the hockey team has been off to an amazing start. I wrote this December 14th, and as of then, we had a 4-win, 1-loss streak. So we are doing amazing in that area. And for this high school, we have 2 days until break. We are very excited about that. We love the building, but we're also very excited to all have a little bit of a break and enjoy our holiday season.
All right, thank you very much, sir. All right, next up, consent grouping. Could I have a motion to approve the grouping of consent items E through L?
So,
Ms. Ledby, can I have a second? Ms. Bowman?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
All right, on to old business. Capital project vote results, BCSD Reimagine Shaping Our Schools for the Future, approved by voters. Are there any questions on that? Could I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Mr. Riegel? Could I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Benedict?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
All right, revised approval of attendance and conference conventions, workshops, and training up to 1,000. Any questions on that? Okay, could I have a motion?
So moved.
Ms. Bowman, could I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Riegel, all in favor?
Any opposed?
All right, on to new business, resolutions. Seeker Type 2 action for an emergency project for John Kennedy sump pump system replacement. Any questions? When did this happen?
So this happened a few months ago, sump pump. This just gives us the environmental permission to have the repairs done.
Gotcha.
It's in process.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, it's going to be an emergency project, which will be another resolution that's soon to follow.
Okay. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Ms. Anderson, can I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Lenby?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
2, emergency declaration resolution, ordinary contingent expense, John Kennedy sump pump replacement project. Any questions? All right, could I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Ms. Bowman, could I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Riegel?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Approve the extra classroom activity financial statements ending June 30th, 2023, and extra classroom activity correction action plan related to the evaluation of the district's extra classroom activity funds ending June 30th, 2023. Any questions? Could I have a motion?
So moved.
Ms. Benedict, second?
Second.
Ms. Lenby?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
4, approve the single audit report for year ending June 30th, 2023, as prepared by Mengel, Metzger, Bar and Company, LLP, certified public accountants. Any questions? No? Could I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Ms. Benedict, could I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Lenby?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
5, approve closure of inactive classroom accounts. Any questions?
And where do those funds go?
So those are actually transferred to student council when they're closed, and then they're dispersed from there based on what student council wants to do with them.
Okay.
So this is like funds that from previous classes that have funds left
Inactive.
over?
Previous clubs
Correct.
that are no
Yeah,
longer
previous
active.
clubs,
Yeah.
okay.
Yep.
Could I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Ms. Benedict, could I have a second? Ms. Bowman?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
6, policy updates recommended by Board Policy Committee with request to waive second reading. Any questions? Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Ms. Bowman, second?
Second.
Mr. Riegel will be down yet.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
All right, administrative reports are curriculum operations in the business office. Those reports are all online. You guys can all take a look at them and read them as you wish. Any comments or anything that any board member would like to say right now? Ms. Bennett?
For a couple months now, I've had a couple community members ask me if, and I'm not exactly sure how this works, that there is some interest in forming a group called Distinguished Batavia City School District Graduates. And recently it came to my attention because we have a graduate, I'm not exactly sure what year he graduated, that was just promoted to be a one-star general in the Army.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that absolutely there are numerous distinguished graduates from Batavia High over the years. But, we have a Hall of Fame for the athletes, and we have musicians of note for music. And I just think that the suggestion was made to me that maybe we could consider this distinguished graduates group also.
At one point in time, we had such a thing. It was the Graduates of Distinction. Ryan received it, while Mark received it, and when my mother worked here. I'm not certain. I know they were recognized, like the homecoming game. They didn't have a hallway or anything of that nature, but we did used to have a Graduates of Distinction book.
Okay. I just wondered, is
I'm
that?
not certain who took care of it. I just
Okay.
know that, like I said, to my, I believe it was Brian Kemp had it one year when he started teaching, et cetera, and Mr. Landmark.
Okay. So therefore, there would be some kind of rules or criteria as to who would
There may be,
qualify?
it would depend on if it was where the information went.
It sounds like it's something really good to look into, it's a really good idea.
And I don't mind being that person to look into it. I guess.
So I've I've heard those suggestions at times here and there, and a teacher a couple years ago made that suggestion to me, and honestly it gets lost in the things that happen, but I think it's a good idea. We have it for art, or for music, we have it for athletics. It'd be nice to have something in general. So I'd be happy to work with the board on that, or yourself, and perhaps our principal. Might be a good thing for the foundation to pursue as well, possibly. So,
There was something
I
to the
mean,
foundation.
we could bring it up at the next foundation meeting. That might be nice to have some community members involved in that process. But if there's a procedure in place, we can look into that too, so.
Okay, that would be great.
Yeah.
That's fine. Thank
But
you.
other schools do similar things. I've seen other schools do that. Like I said, we have the athletics and the music.
And I wouldn't mind seeing, part of the hallway here at high school dedicated to that too. And not just be a recognition at a football game, which is terrific in itself, but I do know that, well, I spend my time looking at musicians of note to see who's in that group and the Hall of Fame and all that kind of stuff. So I think if, we could proceed to the point where we could also do pictures and a little description, that would be great too.
I can work with our PR person on that, Emily, the Foundation,
Okay.
you, and whoever else wants to. I think it'd be great, so.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Alexia. That's excellent. I just have one thing to say. Being a wrestling guy, our wrestling team is off to a great start of the season, so congratulations on them. I believe they're 12-0 or 13-0. Just recently won their own tournament here at Batavia.
You know,
And I had
home run, I think.
Yeah, and I had the pleasure of watching that. So,
And then
congratulations to
isn't there a
them.
student, Stewart,
Casper.
Casper Stewart,
That
yeah.
won the Beast of the East?
Well, he didn't win the Beast Days, I think he won fifth.
Fifth?
Fifth, and that's an outstanding thing to accomplish. So, great things are going to come from Casper Stewart this year. So, anybody else have anything else?
Just kind of reiterate what Jason said and thank the community for coming out and voting for this capital project and approving it. It's going to be a great addition to our district, but our community as a whole. So thank you to the leadership team again for working so hard and putting that together for the district.
Yeah, turned out well, thank you.
All right. We will be going into executive session, and we will not return to public session. Going into executive session to discuss, let's see here, sessions, collective negotiations with the Batavia Administrations Association pursuant to the Taylor Law and discussion regarding proposed pending or current litigation. Could I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Mr. Riegel, could I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Benedict?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.